Hello, welcome to Lamb Living. My name is Holly Lamb, and today this is my second part video for my summer dining room upcycle and refresh. We're going to do the hutch today, and it's got a lot of similar things and elements from my last video where we did the dining room table, but we're going to be taking some of the new 2023 Dollar Tree calendars and featuring them. So those pictures you're seeing, we'll talk more about that, and I'll be showing you the new calendars that are in our Dollar Trees right now as of July 31st. Today's the last day of July. We're also going to be taking some placemats from the Dollar General and adding those to my window wreaths there, hanging in my dining room windows with the beads. We're also going to be upcycling 6 Dollar Tree frames and so here are the frames. They are a golden finish and they have a nice beveled texture, and so we're going to be painting those golden beveled picture frames. There you go, you can see the gold there and the texture. And then we're going to wet distress after I paint. Now there is the Anita's paint that we're going to be using today. That's a matte acrylic paint. I got it at Hobby Lobby, and it is antique white. So it's a little off-white, which is what my dining room furniture is. So again, I'm going with a monochromatic theme, but we're going to bring out that gold after I put 3 coats on. And so here goes the first coat, just with a sponge brush there. You can see the paint that I'm using. Yeah, and then there goes the second coat. I end up putting 3 coats of that Anita's matte paint. Now because it's matte, we can rub it off easily. If it were gloss, it would be a little more difficult, or even a satin. Satin, you can do it as well. But because it's a matte finish, it will take off a little bit of the paint just where the texture is on the frame. Now, these are Dollar Tree frames. They're very, they're thin, they're lightweight. There's a lot of good things to thin and lightweight, but you got to be careful. You can see that I'm giving it some muscle. But there's the difference. You can see a little bit of that gold peeking through as opposed to the solid paint. And so I'm just soaking it a little bit just to loosen up that paint. I don't want to soak it for very long. I painted it the day before, so sometimes if you paint and let it sit for an hour or so, then wet distress, it's a little easier. So that's why I ended up soaking them. Okay, now in our Dollar Trees right now, these first 5 calendars that I'm showing you here, and I'm going to explain each one of them to you, are the ones that'll go fast. I stocked up, yes. So I ended up getting almost all of them. I didn't get a few because they were similar to last year's, but I did get a few because I use these at home, but I also, like you're going to see in this video, but I use them at school for so many things. You can use them. I make flashcards. I make games out of them, like matching games. My students love that, and all kinds of different decor for school. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of them. There's the home. That was the farmer's market. This is Today is a Good Day, Home Sweet Home. Those are the kind of coveted ones that everybody wants. One day at a time. Look at those beautiful picture with the bees. Oh, so cute. And the flowers. Oh, and here's Gardens of Grace. Garden of Grace. Everyday Encouragement. We're going to be using that green picture up in the right hand corner in just a few minutes. That has beautiful sayings, very simple. Now this one is not at all simple, but it has great sayings. It's a lot of fun, lots of color. This will look great in my classroom, things like that. And then of course just the scenic things, mountains and pathways, the sunrise, sunsets, the waves of peace. There's the lighthouses. Light for the Journey is the name of that one. Look at those beautiful, beautiful pictures. And then, of course, there's wildlife, puppies, kittens. There's all kinds of them. My students love those. All right, so now I've distressed my frames. I'm upstairs now in the craft room, and now I'm taking one of the glass pieces from my 8x10 frames. They're from the Dollar Tree. I've got 6 of them that we have painted and wet distressed. And now I'm deciding, do I want it to go horizontally? Do I want it to go vertically? What's going to look best on each one of the pictures? So I think I end up with 2 horizontal pictures and 4 vertical, I think is what I ended up with. But we'll have to pay attention when we're looking at that in the hutch in just a minute. So there they go. That's a beautiful sunset there. Gorgeous. This is from the Pathways calendar. They have sayings. Some of them are just pictures. Some of them have sayings, like the Gardens of Grace. They have sayings. Of course, there's the peachy. Love that sweet peach. Love that being here in Georgia. We love our peaches. All right, and there's the one from the Everyday Encouragement. I love that one. Beautiful. Kindness, goodness, and faithfulness. And that's the Pathway one. Has a nice saying. And then I was out at the Roses, and I thought I'd like for my pictures from my 6 picture frames to match my kind of, do you see the dollar? See that says $1? My whole dining room theme with all the fruits. Remember we chalked those fruits from the thrift store last time. And so I found those for $1. There's, let's see, 12 there. And they're just little lightweight plastic magnets in the shape of fruits. So I thought, again, with the monochromatic, I thought I would just paint them that same Anita's Antique White. I ended up putting 3 coats on there, just like the frames, but I'm not going to wet distress these. I had out the paints from the chalked fruit there. I had put a little dab on my paper plate, but I decided not to use it. I decided to instead take something else to distress it. Now, I also found that little guy, that beautiful little cross. It's a little ceramic cross for $1 at the Roses. You know, I like to shop the Roses. We have one here in Glenn County. And, oh boy, this tag was a problem with a capital P, but I was persistent. Oh, goodness. Okay, so my heat gun to the rescue and my little Dollar Tree scraper. All right, so now it's going to also get a cover of the Antique White by Anita's, but I'm not going to paint in the crevices of the writing completely. So that's just the back of it there, so that got a nice shade. Okay, here comes some Mod Podge. Now, the reason why I decided to get out the Mod Podge, I had put 2 coats of the acrylic paint on the little magnet fruits, those little plastic fruits, but that sort of thing, that plastic doesn't always want to hold paint. So if you put a layer of, ooh, there's what I'm going to be putting, I'll tell you, that antique rub and buff, love that stuff. That's what we're going to not distress, but enhance our little fruits. Make them look a little more fancy. But anyway, the Mod Podge is going to keep it from chipping. So I'm not going to get chipped paint, or it's not going to peel up. The Mod Podge will protect it. Now, that is rub and buff. I got this at Hobby Lobby. And I have used this little bottle of Rub and Buff on so many things already, and I feel like it's still full. This little tube of, I guess it's paint, you know, a wax. I'm not sure. It says it's a wax, I suppose. Let me look here in my notes for the Rub and Buff. But it is just the coolest thing. And the more you rub with your finger, or there I'm using a paper towel, the shinier it gets. So if you want it good and shiny, really buff it out. And that's what's going to make it really pretty and give that nice metallic gold. So that's what I decided to do. Instead of taking the paint off and showing the color, I decided to put that gold Rub and Buff. So it's going to go nicely with our distressed Dollar Tree frames. Yeah, it looks fantastic. Oh, Rub and Buff, fantastic. I love it. Lots of projects left in that little tube right there. I got a feeling those are going to be using that tube on some wedding projects in this upcoming year. All right. So, oh, I'm so excited. Look at that little pineapple down there on that pathway picture. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. All right. So each one of the pictures, I decided to go with I think I did most of them fruit in the left-hand corner. I feel like I went uh, in one direction. You can see most of them are vertical, but I've got a few horizontal there. I put mostly just one fruit over in the corner, but some of them I put two. Yeah, so there we go. Two little cuties there on that one. Love it. Now the beets, I didn't have a beet, and of course beets are a vegetable, but I don't even know what that fruit was. It was yellow, no matter. And so, but it ended up, because I put a little bit too much of the hot glue on one side where it was going to stick to the frame, it kind of melted it a little bit, but it ended up turning out to look a little bit more like a beet. It was a happy accident. All right, so now the peaches are going on. The peaches were being, that one was being a little difficult. So I had to end up getting out my Fix-All adhesive from the Dollar Tree. It's from Super Glue, and I use it a lot when I want permanent hold. And so even though I might end up taking these little fruits off these frames, and the hot glue will allow that, I feel like I didn't put any wax or any kind of top coat on this paint, so it really should, these fruits should pop off. Now that Fix-All adhesive is going to take off some paint, so I'll end up having to put a little bit more back on, but that's okay. That's not a big deal. Now I was trying to decide, should I put them together, should I put them spread apart, and I decided to put them together. I went bottom left-hand corner. I don't know why I was feeling that, but I was. And it ended up looking really, really nice on the hutch, and we'll get a reveal here in just a few minutes. But those little rub and buff fruits just look, there we go. You can see them there. Yeah. See our little peaches. There's the beet. And he kind of has a flat side, but it looks a little more beet-like. All right, now, in the last video, we made a candle holder with this Krylon Satin Pistachio spray paint, which is officially now my favorite spray paint. I love it. It looks like jadeite once you spray it onto glass. But in the hutch, I'm going to use it on some Taco Bell taco sauce bottles. And they end up looking like adorable, a little set of, a flower vase. And so they look fantastic. I end up putting a little bit, you can see them there, I made 4. And I'm going to put the Rust-Oleum matte chalk paint on, which is, it's just a glaze, it's a top coat. It's matte clear. And I did that on that particular spray paint because I was afraid it might chip off. And I'm going to take these Sam's ribbons. Actually, I'm going to use the one with the lemons that says welcome, and then that green one right underneath it. 50 yards. It was a fantastic deal. $2.91 for 50 yards. Wow. So I'm just going to use those two in my hutch project today. And that green, ooh, it was the perfect color for that pistachio paint. And so I'm going to cover up the top of the little, now vases. They were Taco Bell sauce bottles, so I'm going to cover up the little rings there at the top so it doesn't look like a Taco Bell bottle for taco mild sauce, which is what I like with my nachos. So I'm going to cover that up and do a little dab of hot glue, and then I'm going to put a little bit of the Dollar Tree potpourri on the seam so you don't see the seam. That covers that up right there, just a neutral little piece of potpourri that go along with the little potpourri balls we made in the last video. I'll link that video down in the description box if you didn't get a chance to see it. There they are. Now I didn't put any flowers in, I just put a succulent. One succulent to match our theme of our summer decor there. And now we're going to go to these wreaths. You can see right there, I haven't put the lemons in them yet, and all I'm going to do is take some placemats from the Dollar General, and I'm going to hang those placemats on the existing wreaths that I have there. I'm just upcycling right there. I think that one says gratitude. These are from the Dollar Tree. I made those. So, $1 for these beautiful lemon placemats. They're only one-sided. You can see I flipped them over there. And I'm going to use that riser from the Target Dollar Spot to, it was the perfect size to make 2 circles so that I could put them back to back. And then I punched 1 hole with my 3-hole puncher. Just punched 1 hole. I cut a little slit and slid them right into the loop. And with a trip to the Goodwill bins, oh, yeah, I'm smiling behind that mask. There it is. I love a good haul from the bins. We're going to be ready to decorate. Once I wash all that stuff in the sink, it is ready to go out into my vignettes. So you can see my little lamb there is standing on some beautiful little alphabet blocks. Look at there. And those are from the bins. All right. I'm going to read to you from Galatians 5:22 and 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. And those are the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And so as we live our life, and I'm getting ready to live my life back to school. It's now August, starting tomorrow. I go back to school for teacher planning. I am thrilled to work every day to try to show those fruits of the Holy Spirit who lives inside of me. And my home and love, all those beautiful things. Yes, please like and subscribe my this video, and check out that part 1 video if you didn't see it. I'll have it linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching today. From the blue house on the corner with lemons hanging in the windows. See you next time.